Crap, oops. Get out of here. Hey guys, so gonna open up some more records. So let's get into this. So let's see here. Okay, so this first one is Strawberry Jam by Animal Collective. They're one of my favorite groups. They're a neo-psychedelia group from Maryland. You can also maybe call them experimental pop. But now this album is pretty cool because I think the backstory of it is pretty interesting. So basically I think they were on a plane, and when they were on the plane, they got like a packet of jelly, and I don't remember which one it was. I think it was Panda Bear. He said, like, I want to make an album that sounds exactly like how this jelly looks. Something that's really futuristic and aggressive, but also tangy and sweet. And then they came up with this album, basically. This is my second favorite release by them. My first is Spirit They're Gone, Spirit They Vanished. But this is my second favorite album by them. It's very, very fun. It also was my favorite for a bit. This is one of the albums that really got me into this group. Let's see what else we have. Alright, okay, so next we have hold on. Okay. Bottomless Pit by Death Grips. This album came out in 2016, and this is actually my first colored record too. And also I think the first album that I ever pre-ordered too, I think. Hold on, let's see here. And this is my third favorite Death Grips release. I think they did, yeah, but 2015, 2016, 2017, I think were the best Death Grips. Their recent stuff has been really good, in my opinion. This is kind of almost like, kind of similar to The Money Store, and you wouldn't necessarily expect that with the single Hothead, which is like one of the most like aggressive and chaotic songs yet. And the first track is actually even more aggressive, I guess. So it kind of starts out really, really abrasive, but it kind of turns into, there's a lot of more pop-oriented parts in this, which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing. Yeah, this is a really good album though. So it's also one of the most rock-oriented, I'd say. Okay, so this one is Plastic Surgery Disasters by Dead Kennedys. And this is actually my favorite Dead Kennedys album. This is their second studio album. They also had an EP come in before that too. And a lot of compilations will actually group the EP released before this with this album as well. And the song Moon Over Moraine is one of my favorite punk songs ever. And this is one of my favorite punk albums too. This is a really, really great album, front to back. And one of the best albums of the 80s, in my opinion. Alright, hold on. Okay, so this one is Illinois by Sufjan Stevens, and Sufjan Stevens is one of my favorite musicians. And this album is all about the state of Illinois. It has songs all relating to Illinois in some way, shape, or form. And he said he originally was going to make an album named after every single state, but he ended up only doing Illinois and Michigan, and he's from Michigan. And Michigan came first, though. And a lot of people hail this as his masterpiece, but I actually prefer his album from 2015, Carrie in the Well, over this. But this is still a really great album, too. There's a lot of kind of progressive pop elements, a lot of really, really big diversity in here. And there's some pictures of some people from Illinois. I don't know why John Wayne Gacy, the serial killer, really deserved to be on here, but I guess he is. There's a song about him, though. But, let's see here. Well, the lyric sheet it comes with. The packaging board is really good, which I would expect from Speedy Stevens. insanely talented musician. And also on the cover, I don't know if you know the picture of balloons. It was originally an image of Superman, but DC sued him and wanted Superman taken off the album cover. But there are some physical releases of it that exist with Superman on it, but they're very hard to find and also very expensive, I think. The first copies of the album did have Superman on the cover, and it had the picture of balloons. Okay, Prosody Exhibition by Danny Brown. This is one of my favorite albums of 2016, which is a really, really good year for music. And this is also definitely my favorite Danny Brown album. Hands down, definitely his best. And it's also one of the best experimental hip-hop albums I've ever heard too. Really, really interesting. So he has an insane flow, and here's the instrumentals on this are crazy. Just weird and chaotic, but he just like slices through them like butter almost. It feels like he's a really, really great MC. He is really, really great. He's a great lyricist too. I mean, he's kind of has a bunch of kind of quirky, kind of comedic, tongue-in-cheek kind of lyrics too, but he's actually a really great lyricist and a really great storyteller as well. He's a man of a lot of words, I guess I could say. He's also a really cool guy in real life, though. He seems like a really cool person in his interviews. Let's see here. He's from Michigan. Okay, so, alright, hold on. Alright, I might need to move some of these and put some of these somewhere else. Okay, so this one is Floating Into the Night by Julie Cruz. And she is a dream pop musician from Iowa. And she's actually worked closely with David Lynch, director David Lynch, and the person who made the soundtrack to Twin Peaks. And actually a lot of the songs from this album are actually used in Twin Peaks, and this was released in 1989, the year before Twin Peaks aired. And David Lynch wrote all the lyrics for her, and Angelo Badalamenti, the person who made the soundtrack to Twin Peaks, he made the music. This is one of the prettiest looking records I own too. I really like that pretty red. She's a really, really great vocalist and one of the most underrated artists in dream pop, in my opinion. And also the song following the lead single, an instrumental version of it, was used as the theme. She actually appeared in the show a few times too. She's been in, anyway, so you see her. Okay. Alright, we got Kid A by Radiohead. This was my favorite album of all time for a little bit. And it was my favorite Radiohead album for a really, 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 really long time. I think I might prefer In Rainbows over this now, but this is definitely a great release. One of the best albums of the 2000s, definitely. And I prefer this over OK Computer, as you guys probably already know. And this is probably their most electronic music influence release, I'd say. And I think this may have come with a download code, but I might have lost it. I don't know. It's because Amnesiac came with a download code, but as far as I know, this one didn't. But I could have just lost it. But this is a classic album, though. Definitely one you should check out if you're interested in music. And really, really interesting take for Radiohead in a very different direction than what their fans were kind of used to. But it really, really worked out. Okay. Alright, let's see here. Okay, okay, so this one is Slow Riot for New Zero Canada by Speedy, the Black Emperor. This is an EP that the group did. They're a Canadian post-rock group. This was released like a year before Lift Your Skinny Fist came out, which is my favorite release by them. But there's only 2 songs on this, but they're both really, really great songs though. And especially the first track, Moya, is actually one of my favorite songs the group has ever done. Cover art for it is great, which is kind of expected because this group has some really, really great looking packaging on their releases. And they're also one of my favorite groups too. Their music's absolutely beautiful. Now go into this a little bit. Okay, so this one is Loveless by. We'll do this one and then we'll give it a rest for the day. So this one is Loveless by My Bloody Valentine, and this is also a bootleg record. So this record is not real; it's a bootleg. And I got it off eBay, I think. I didn't know it was a bootleg, and it's pretty obvious it's a bootleg because it's all floppy. I kind of actually was borderline thinking when they re-released this album of just getting that, and it's a colored vinyl and it's green and it has a little smudge right here that won't come off, and it's, I don't know, it's not very good sound quality, which is kind of expected with a bootleg release. But back then this album was kind of hard to find. But you know what, I actually remember I went to a record store in Iowa and they actually had an original copy of it at the store. I didn't know that the record was originally rare, but I think it was a lot of money though, but I would have probably bought it if I knew that. But yeah, this is a great album, and a lot of people see this as the greatest shoegaze album ever, like easily, but it's kind of difficult to get into. I didn't really like it at first. I just kind of saw it as a bunch of noise at first when I kind of heard it. But when you kind of really dig deep into it and really kind of listen to it passionately, it's really a beautiful release. And really, really interesting use of sound and something that like never really, like, you can't really hear in a whole lot of other albums. And it's, I think I heard that they re-recorded this album so many times to perfect the sound that they wanted until they eventually got what they wanted, which was with this album. And yeah, it's a really, really great release, and one of the most influential albums in shoegaze. And I'm completely shocked. I'm completely shocked that shoegaze scene didn't grow out of Ireland because of that album. It is definitely the most well-known shoegaze album. I don't know. All right, so that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.